Coming up December 15th on the Whimsy Farm podcast, I speak with Susan Tweit, author of the memoir Bless the Birds, Living with Love in a Time of Dying.
The title of the book, Bless the Birds, comes from, I guess, the defining moment in the journey that we took with his brain cancer. He was, I have to think back, 59. He turned to me as we're driving down this little road in the pinyon juniper woodlands of Southwest Colorado, and he said, "What's with all the birds?" So I scanned the landscape as he's driving slowly down this gravel road, and I didn't even see a magpie. I didn't see any birds at all. And I said cautiously, "What birds?" And he started talking about the birds he could see. There were tiny birds on every blade, on every piece of gravel in the road. There were little birds on each blade of grass. There were birds cheek by jowl on the utility wires along the road. There were birds on the barbed wire fence. There were big birds on the rims of the distant mesas. And my skin crawled. I'm trained as a scientist. I couldn't see a bird anywhere, and he was seeing them everywhere. And I finally said, and it seemed like forever as we're driving slowly down this road, I finally said, "Well, show me one." He reached for this bird that he could see, and he put his hand, he cupped it with his hand, the way my dad, who banded birds to study them, showed him how to cradle a bird with the back of your hand around its wings and the beak coming over the front of your hand and cradling it very gently. And his hand passed right through the bird he could see. The book is about how you live well in the worst times you can imagine, or maybe can't imagine in your life. When the worst happens, how do you rise to your best self? Not every moment. We're human. We can't do that. Um, but how do you, on average, rise to your best self when you no longer recognize the world as it was and things are so unimaginably difficult that you don't know how you're going to go to the next day, much less live through whatever the journey is ahead.
As you put it somewhere in the book, midwifing death as well as birth. I love it when you
Yeah,
talk about that. And
yeah,
so, as you're midwifing Richard, then you're also now midwifing your
yeah.
mother. Can you tell us a little about her story?
Well, first I have to step back and say the grace of that was that while mom was going really, while her body was failing her, we still thought Richard was going to make it. He was still doing really well, and it looked like the tumor activity in his brain had decreased, and we really thought he would have a lot longer than he did. So the grace was that I didn't feel like up till the very last with my mom, I didn't feel like I was losing Richard at the same time. But it is an honor and a privilege to midwife someone's death. It is a really hard, really grueling, really difficult honor and a privilege, but it transforms everyone. And I know this is true because I know some midwives who midwife birthing, and I know that's true for them too, because every birth is different. Every mother and child are different, or children. Um, but I hadn't thought about it with death, that it really is, it's transformative for all of us involved. I have a mantra, which I think is in this book or maybe the previous memoir, Walking Nature Home. I don't remember. Sorry. Old person memory and 13 books and hundreds of articles. I forget sometimes. But it comes from a Mary Chapin Carpenter song. And the line in the Mary Chapin Carpenter song is dreaming with my heart outstretched as if it was my hand. And I adapted it to living with my heart outstretched as if it is my hand. And I say that every night before I go to sleep. I say, I'm living with my heart outstretched as if it were my hand. But I guess I want to say to all of your listeners, thank you for giving us your time and attention, and take heart. Take heart. Each of us has a part to play in life as it unfolds, and it doesn't have to be a giant, overwhelming part. It involves really, quite literally, following our hearts and spirits and doing what we are, as Quakers like to say, moved to do by that small, still voice of the sacred within us. If we listen within and we honor that part of ourselves. We do what we're called to do in the world, and we do good work. And
Episode 17 of the Whimsy Farm podcast streams December 15th on my YouTube channel, Carolyn Crane and Whimsy Farm, on my website, whimsyfarm.net, and wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
whimsyfarms.net